What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to The Walking Dead. This episode, we're going to get into some news about the episode and The Walking Dead moving forward, because we are in the break season right now. We're mid-season, and we got some news about that. Also, we're going to give you a rundown for episode 8, the mid-season finale. And we're going to speculate just a little bit on what's to come. But we'll probably break the speculation off into a second episode, so watch out for that on YouTube and the podcasts. And also,
you called
trying to make it a little
Dead.
bit more epic.
You called it The Walking Dead, not The Broken Dead.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. This is The Broken Dead.
Don't get us sued.
Yeah, this is The Broken Dead, where we're talking The Walking Dead.
There.
That's our tagline, by the way, talking The Walking Dead. I'm sure somebody else is using it.
I feel like
but
The Talking Dead probably has that as their tagline.
maybe.
I mean, it is called The Talking
Well, I mean,
Dead.
technically, the Whisperers are just The Talking Dead anyway. So.
Clever.
I stole that. All my jokes are
Now you're
recycled,
going
people.
to jail.
Sorry. Yeah, let's. Anyway, so three-word teaser. Who wants to hit it?
Darkness is falling.
Ooh. Scary.
That was a pretty good teaser. This is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
I'm gonna be Quin today. Hi. How are y'all?
Naruto. Naruto. I don't know how to pronounce it because I never
It's
watched
just Naruto.
it. Naruto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always
Didn't
thought
he get a balloon in the Thanksgiving Day Parade this year?
Goku did.
Oh, sorry.
Goku.
Sorry.
So- it's okay.
Was that close?
Because you're crossing fandoms there.
Oh,
Be
no.
careful.
Like just a
I
hair.
won't comment.
I
Yeah.
can tell you so many times I got mad at people, but I can't get mad at you because
Thank you.
I like you.
Yeah, it's like Ghostbusters. You never cross the streams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever else, I've found to upload this, and I haven't uploaded except for like episode 1 on Facebook yet, but I'll probably go back over the break and upload everything. So if you found it on Facebook, thanks for watching. And if you're listening on podcast, we appreciate that. If you would, guys, just do us a favor. If you know some people that are into The Walking Dead, would you just share this episode with them and just let them know that, hey, there's some people out there like them that like The Walking Dead, and we like to talk about it too.
Or even if they hate The Walking Dead, we might be able to hate it with them or sway them or something like that.
We got some hates on The Walking Dead too.
Yeah, for
Little
sure. We got some
joy in the
problems with it,
dark
so
side
it's
of
not
the
all
force.
just love and butterflies and things like that.
Yeah, we're not all fanboys and fangirls over here.
I
I'm
mean,
glad you clarified.
Yeah. So also, if you're a new listener, we appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Give us another shot. If this one doesn't do it for you, we're bound to love you in so many ways. You're bound to like one. Give you content.
This is becoming uncomfortable.
We love you. So anyways, if you ever listen to other podcasts and they're just like, we love you. And I'm just like, ugh.
It makes me think of this SpongeBob episode where Patrick is like, I love you. Where they're trying to sell chocolate.
Yeah.
Any
Oh,
SpongeBob
yeah.
fans.
Anyways, we're super appreciative of you guys. We would
Appreciative.
Super appreciative. This podcast would not go very far without you guys. So we realize that you guys are the fans. You guys are the ones that keep this going. And the reason we still do it because we already got tired of it a long time ago. Yeah, for real. So don't forget to check out the website. That's www.broken.picturesnew.com.
I hope you got a paper cut.
Yeah. I didn't mean to bump your notes there. And you can see us find us on social media, on Facebook. That is Broken Pictures Social. I'm sorry. Instagram and Twitter, broken_social. And if you wouldn't mind going on there, just let us know that you found the podcast and you listen. Just comment and like, share, or whatever people do out there on the interwebs and the social medias, Web 2.0, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, and if you're feeling generous, if we kind of tickled your fancy a little bit more than you expected, if you'd be a little gracious
stop.
and find.
So uncomfortable. I don't plan on tickling anyone's fancy.
Okay, so we're on Patreon at Broken Pictures. if you're feeling generous. But if you're feeling very uncomfortable right now, please. But if you would just like, share, subscribe, rate, and review, and all that good stuff, just let us know what you thought. Your feedback is imperative to us getting better, and we want to get better. If you've watched the show or listened to the show for any amount of time, you realize that we kind of change things up a little bit, and we're always in the path of trying to make this better. So it would be supremely helpful if you would just throw us a little comment and tell us what you think.
We're on the hunt for the groove.
Yay.
Oh, faux show.
Faux show.
Speaking of,
All right.
please. Can I talk about the restructure a little bit while we're touching on that a little bit on change and stuff like that? Because like the episode is going to be a little bit different. So normally we kind of go scene by scene what's happening, and for this episode we kind of changed it up a little bit, and we're trying to kind of group it more in like event that has happened, and so we're going to group characters together more than we do usually, and so it's going to sound and look a little bit different. And let us know what you think, if it's better, if it's worse, anything like that.
Yeah, we're trying to combat being so freaking long.
Yes, because this takes up a majority of my day off, and I'm sick and darn tired of it.
Yeah, but I mean the truth is we're fans of The Walking Dead, and we just like to talk about it. You know, we get to talking, and it's hard to shut up sometimes. I know for me, speaking personally, but also if you hadn't noticed, Quin is back.
Yeah,
in the form of Naruto.
Why'd I say yay for me? But yeah, I'm back.
Yeah,
Yay
there's
for
nothing
you.
wrong with that.
Yay for me.
Self-confidence,
That's a
bro.
yay. But yeah, I'm back. Took a week off.
Quin
Now
is back.
you all get to hear my accentuating voice.
Whoa.
Sexual chocolate over there.
I feel like that was like, do you remember? Okay, never mind. I'm not even going to try and picture it. It's a long story longer, so I'm not even going to get into it.
So hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. It was a long weekend, much needed weekend, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm still gassy from all the food I've been
Gross.
eating.
Nobody wants to hear about that. He told me
come on, it's
yesterday
a
if he
human issue.
has to eat any more Thanksgiving food, he's going to turn into Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn into a giant
Told
ham.
him he was
That's
already
why
a
I'm going
turkey.
ham today, man.
Please don't. Please don't. Help me, Lord Jesus.
Also, if you haven't noticed, we got our special guest over here. If you can see on the video, he's gonna pop his nose up at any point in time during the video, so you can play a little game called Finding Ghost.
Or finding a ghost.
Yeah,
Ghost.
it's our
He
dog.
touched my foot with his cold nose earlier. I almost jumped.
Yeah, so he's in here with us. He's going to be popping up, looking for attention every once in a while. So I hope you guys don't mind. I sure don't mind a doggo's company or dog.
I knew that was coming. Do you see his face when he says it? Get so serious. Dog.
It's because I'm trying to be like Daryl, because Daryl's so serious. Like, he grunts everything. Like, he was literally like, Michonne, come here. Look at this. It's like, I don't know. Anyways.
Spoiler alert.
So let's get into the news for The Walking Dead. Cool little fan find that I found on Twitter. His cold nose just touched my hand. In Maggie's office, before the jump, where Jesus, we meet baby Herschel, and Jesus is in her office talking about Georgie and all that kind of stuff. On the wall in the background, we can see that there's these little collages that somebody has made or she's made. Excuse me, of Beth, Glenn, and Herschel on the wall, and that just touches the heart. And anybody else? I figured Lydia would have
I
a
literally
comment.
cried when I saw it.
Yeah.
He showed me, and I cried.
You have to show me so I can cry.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I'll
it.
pull it up.
Was, yeah, it was a great little Easter egg.
It was super cool. And what's bad is that, like, I saw Herschel and Glenn. I was like, who's that other person? And he was like, Beth. I was like, oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah,
It was just so long ago.
yeah. It was literally like
Talk about
6
If you
years
can't
ago.
say how long, don't be
6, 8 years
literally.
it was about 6, 8
It's
years ago. I guess.
approximately.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, so I'll try to find that and put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. But also, just a little bit, because Maggie's exit kind of got overshadowed by Rick's exit, and a lot of fans apparently don't listen to stuff like this or follow stuff behind the scenes or whatever, and they were like, well, where'd Maggie go? What happened to Maggie? And then finally, like 2 episodes later, they addressed, oh, Maggie's at with Georgie, hey, yeah, she's doing stuff.
Who talks like that? Please stop.
Radio people do. We're on the radio, dang it. This is internet radio. This is the new wave. Anyway. Oh, wow. Sorry. I had a little bit of coffee this morning.
Just a little.
And I got a lot to go. Ooh, I just like blew snot on. I'm sorry, guys.
Gross. Why would you even say that?
Oh, man. So, The Walking Dead AMC had to release an official statement just letting everybody know that, hey, yeah, Lauren Cohen is still in talks with The Walking Dead. She's coming back for season 10, and God willing, she's going to be back on the show and everything. And so they're just kind of like leaving it open-ended, and they had to make an official announcement because people were just like, oh, what happened, So it really wasn't handled very well, and so much so they had to come back and fix it. But anyways, another piece of news, R.I.P. Jesus. Yeah.
See ya, Jesus.
Yeah, but don't worry, he'll be back in 3 days.
I was going to say that later.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm Jedi wiping your mind right now so that when she tells the joke later, it'll be just as funny.
Yeah, I'll tell it different. Better delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, so there was a lot of bad press-ish surrounding...
Sorry, I'm on the Broken Pictures Twitter, and I haven't been on social media in a little while because I'm into a book right now. And there's a Office thing that they reposted. This is OMG, it's the Whispers, and I'm just dead because it's Dwight when he has
I posted the GIF on
dummy's face on him, and it turns around and says, OMG, it's the Whispers. So you should check it out on the Broken Pictures Twitter because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the other thing.
I didn't repost that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you're going to have to look
So now
it
we
up.
have to search it? Like, real deal?
like
Take me
legit search
forever.
So I didn't know Thomas Paine was unhappy with...
Yes. The Hollywood Reporter did, because usually they'll do like an interview with exiting cast members, especially if they're a big cast member like Jesus or fan favorite. And he just kind of let it all fly. And he was just like, look, I told the writers I would not be, he said, last season I told the writers I would not be unhappy if they wrote me out. Like he was not happy at all with the way his character was done. He said that literally he signed on for Jesus, who's a badass character who caught a grenade and threw it back, that had this epic fight with Negan, and he got none of that. And he was training. Yeah, he said he was training hard in the background, just ready to go at any point, and the only fight he ever got was with people of his own team. So he was very disappointed, and he thought the character was very, very underused, and he was not down for that, to just be like a side B character on the sidelines. He was actually, that was not his agreement.
Sorry, now I'm going through the likes to see if he liked it, and some of these memes have got me dead.
Yeah, like Sunday nights when I like search the TWD hashtag, like, oh man, they're so good.
These are some quality ones. Just get on Twitter and search The Walking Dead. It's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you see that one? The one right above. Like, are these the same two characters?
Yes, yeah, I saw that. That was so funny.
Yeah. So anyways, he was not happy with it, and he said that his exit was a mutual decision. Basically, like he shared, and this was all under Scott Gimple's reign or whatever.
Okay.
And a lot of people are still not happy with that he wasn't fired, that he actually just got a better job within the same year, and now he's got more power, but he's not directly into it or whatever. So maybe he excuse me.
Goodness gracious.
I know, pardon me.
Please stop.
I would if I could. But so yeah, a lot of people are unhappy because they, like, Scott Gimple did well at first, but the past 2 seasons have just been crappy.
Wonky.
And everybody, like the cast, the writers, everybody's not happy with where he went. And then a lot of people are also unhappy with Rick's exit, that it was just like, hey, guess what? You need to take this so seriously. Psych, he's not really dead. You know?
But I feel there's nothing wrong with him not being really dead, but they just said it was some of his last episodes. They never said, watch the death of Rick Grimes.
Well,
yeah,
that's
fair.
true. But a lot of people are unhappy because it was kind of like, we finally, like, Rick's plot armor is still intact. You know what I mean? It's like, just like, it was like literally a Deus Ex Machina, where it's just like literally a helicopter came in from nowhere and saved him.
Not nowhere. They did like tease it and show us, and it was there. It's been there all along, and we've been waiting for something to happen with it.
Yeah, and that's the argument. But it was still kind of like Gimple wrote the episode, and so it was like, okay, we're done with Gimple. Stop giving us Gimple stuff. And because everybody's loving what Angela Kang is doing right now, because she's reinvigorating, she's bringing all the characters back that we love, and I'm bringing this back around to Tom Payne, who played Jesus. He said the last 2 episodes where Angela Kang actually did the character right, where he got to interact with Aaron and he got to interact with Daryl and Eugene, like he was out there actually doing his thing. Like, he loved that, and he said because of the last 2 episodes, he actually wishes they would have wrote him off a little bit later, because he thought that's where the character should have been in the first place. And so apparently the decision was made before Angela Kang came on, but she still respected where he was coming from and listened to him enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do you right on your way out. And I like that.
She did.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is the Jesus I know right here. And then they learned to dodge.
Yeah. But, I mean, even though he's a ninja, he couldn't have seen that coming.
No, he freaked out. See the look on his face.
Mm-hmm. He was, I wasn't ready.
Too soon.
So with all this negative press that's going on, I mean, yeah, The Walking Dead has made a big comeback, and they've got a lot of momentum right now. But going into the break, taking the hit with how they handled Maggie's exit and now Jesus's exit, how much more? I mean, do they really have enough momentum to withstand all this negative feedback? Like, the Hollywood Reporter wrote an editorial that was just kind of like, hey, I see what you're trying to do, but too little too late. Like, I'm not really interested. And it seems like a lot of the fandom kind of feels that way.
It does. I mean, I feel like they could, with Rick gone, your main characters leaving shows, it always seems like a show's about at the end of its rope. But the show feels like a brand new show. Mm-hmm. And with that, it could make it to maybe 15 seasons, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And
I feel like with the movies coming out, they're gonna, or whatever, the longer episode
universe
type. Yeah. I feel like it's gonna cut away from the Sunday to Sunday episodic feel. So I don't know that it'll go 15 seasons.
But yeah, I mean,
you
could still say a season is, if they do
true.
like 7 episodes a year, like break it up every few months. And then, like, that's a whole season.
Mm. But they're kind of like with Sherlock on the BBC.
Yeah. And, like, they could still do that if they don't want to have it every Sunday, an hour-long episode, and drawing these characters out even more. Because, like, if they do that, they could give you more action, more story, more of the things that you want to see more of.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Except... Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. And what do you guys think? I mean, I feel like half the fans are torn. They're done with Gimple, and it's like, okay, we want more Walking Dead, but we don't want it. We don't want Gimple style more Walking Dead.
Yeah, which is frustrating because all of the Rick stuff that is to come is Gimple.
Yeah, and he's writing all that, and it's just like, okay, stop, because the story elements, like, it's played out. The way he writes, everybody's tired of it, and hopefully it gives him enough of a break to restructure a little bit, and he takes some cues from Angela Kang and not just kind of like just does, well, now I've got more freedom and more power. But anyways, but also half the fandom, like us most of the time, is excited for The Walking Dead going forward and where Angela Kang has taken this and how exciting, because we've got a solid 8 episodes, a solid first half, and we haven't had that in years. And so it really is invigorating, but I mean, it's bittersweet, you know what I mean? So, I mean, and even though The Walking Dead has taken a huge hit, it is still the top show on cable television. You know, I mean, there's, outside of Game of Thrones, which really isn't, that's
not cable.
That's a different type of cable television.
I feel like Modern Family is probably kind of close up there.
Modern Family is pretty close, but it's a different genre too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Different channel too.
Yeah, so I mean, they're still having 10 million viewers. I mean, that's a lot of folks out there. I mean, that's like the whole city of New York watching. That's pretty big.
And then some people are still like trying to get into it. Like, like I know Nicole that we used to work with. She like caught up to it.
Oh, really?
And my little cousin just started watching it over Thanksgiving.
Oh, so, that's good. Yeah. If you've been out for a while and you're curious to get back in, now is the time to get in.
Yeah.
Now is definitely the time to get in, because it's basically a sequel to The Walking Dead, but it's everything you knew and loved about the originals. And even in the editorial from Hollywood Reporter that said that it was too little too late, they said that it felt like the old stuff that they loved back at, like the intro to the governor, the intro or the stuff with Herschel back at the farm and all that stuff,
That stuff was good.
Yeah. Like that's where I got into season 2.
Started watching season 1. I had no idea what I was watching for real.
Yeah.
I didn't get into like season 5 or season 6 or something like that.
I think it was 4 or 5, something like that. Yeah. Because we went back and watched it all, and it was really cool for me to go back and watch everything. But anyways, moving on. We're gonna rate the episode on. Put the Twitter poll. The options were best episode ever, great, just okay, or hated it. Excuse me. And
no, it was horrible.
No, I changed it. Yours is not up to date. Sorry. I told you I was still editing.
Throws off.
So, so best episode ever. 25% of people that voted thought it was the best episode ever. And it seems like I'm hearing that like a lot of people really loved this episode. A lot of people, 13% said it was great. 50% said it was just okay. And 12% hated it. And I think I know why. Because it's like
Jesus is dead.
Yeah.
That's why.
And it's like one of those Game of Thrones episodes, like the Red Wedding. You're just like, screw this show. I'm done. Literally, after the show, she was like, screw this show. I'm done. I
almost tried to like barter to not be on this episode of The Broken Dead because I am so upset.
Why?
Because I'm so upset that Jesus is dead.
So go ahead and rate the episode since you're on a roll here.
Now you put me on the spot. Quality, great. Revealing, me. The stuff that happened, I really like that we saw the whispers. I don't like that Negan got out, and Jesus is dead, and I'm super upset about that. That's all I got. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 6.5, 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that was.
I feel I need to know how many fog machines they used. It had to be like 1,200 every episode. It was like laying the ground with fog, and it's like it was. I liked it for some of the part, but then I also didn't like it. I don't know. I'm very conflicted with this season of The Walking Dead. So I feel like all of my rates are conflicted.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to give this episode 9 little pigs out of 10. Just because of the execution of it was just perfect for me. As far as Negan getting out, Jesus dying, even though I wish he hadn't died.
Speaking of execution.
I think it's crucifixion, but that's all right.
No, he wasn't crucified, so.
No, I really thought like once he died and he was like laying on the ground, he was gonna be out there like.
Missed opportunity.
Man, I almost spit my coffee out on that one.
But from beginning to end, this episode had me. It had me captivated. I was glued to the screen. Had to tell my son he had to wait to eat until the episode was done. But yeah, it was great.
RJ. So yeah, for me the same. Like execution, I thought it was extremely well done. It was one of the scary. I believe the hype. It was one of the scariest episodes they'd ever had, and I think it was extremely well done. And I think even though I was upset about Jesus leaving, and I was super surprised that they would take Jesus so close after losing Rick, like two main characters almost back to back, like within episodes of each other. I thought that it felt right, you know, and I really liked it. I thought it was one of the best episodes ever. So I'm gonna say 8 or 9.
Guess I'm odd man out then. I just didn't feel like it had to be Jesus.
Yeah.
Tom Paine, shut your dang mouth. Like, can you not read? Like, I don't understand why you had to vocalize that you didn't want to be on the show anymore. I don't care what you want, Tom Paine. I wanted you on the show.
Yeah, I feel like he spoke a little too soon.
Yeah,
like he
it ain't
kind of
about
jumped
you.
the gun there.
It's about what we want, not what you want.
Yeah, and it's getting a little played out that every time we see a big bad, that we got to take out a main cast member to show you how big bad they are. And it's like you can take other things away.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
could have took a hand.
Yeah, get creative.
Another hand. We would have been okay with another arm.
Or like they lose crops, or like supplies or something.
Or even if
something
he had
that has
been
a huge
stabbed,
yeah,
and somehow they rescued him and saved him. Like they have doctors now. Aaron has a fake arm. You could have stabbed him a little and then kept him alive, and we would have been like, "Oh dang, Jesus, I'm gonna die."
Yeah, could have went into a coma and woke up 3 days later.
Yeah, it would have been perfect. And what bothered me a little bit about it was that they foreshadowed it too much. We knew it was coming after all of the rumors and everything that we've heard. Y'all just really laid it out there. We knew Jesus was going to die.
The creepy lingering on Jesus's face as he watches the walkers. Like
all of the build up to him. To me, it felt similar to the old ways of, wow, we have a surprise cast member on the couch. I wonder who it is. Oh, it's Jesus because he's going to die this episode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I really wish people would stop leaking stuff like this online, because I see it on accident just scrolling through Twitter, and it's just like, oh, surprise, da-da-da-da-da, here's the spoiler. And it's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, you can report those people.
Yeah.
You should probably do that.
Like, I mean, there are full
spoilers.
Yeah, there are full accounts that are dedicated to
spoilers.
Oh, I work on the set. You know, it's probably somebody that works on the set and they're leaking stuff and nobody knows who they are. And even if you don't follow them, those,
like, people retweet it and stuff like that. It's like, don't stop.
Yeah,
Please
exactly.
Stop.
And then doing a show like this, like, I feel obligated to have to know what's going on, and put it in the teasers and but it just kind of ruins it for everybody. But Angela Kang did say in an interview that they have heard from their end loud and clear that fans don't want spoilers. So they're done telling spoilers. And
and doing like countdowns, like Rick's last episode, Maggie's last episode.
They had to do that because it got spoiled,
Right.
And they were not in control of it.
At least, At least having a foot.
Yeah, that was all collateral damage.
I knew someone was gonna die. I'd stayed off of like Twitter and everything just in case I ran into it. But when in the second that Daryl said he would stay behind, and then the walkers didn't follow him, I was like, oh, yep, Jesus is about to die, because Aaron's getting a little chunk of Rick's story.
Yeah, he just lost an arm. Why are they going to kill him?
Yeah. And Eugene has a little bit more of a role to play, so...
They didn't focus on either Aaron or Eugene, so I knew it had to be Jesus. Even Magna's group brought Jesus up. Like, they're talking about Jesus when he's not there.
Yeah.
I feel like he had to be the one to die because of all that.
Yeah, Rick left Rick had so much plot armor that he left some behind for Daryl, and Daryl's wearing it now.
Unfortunately, we're not even to the episode breakdown, though, so we better get going.
So, episode intro, if you wouldn't mind lending your sensual voice. Sensuous talking.
Problem. Over here in the description.
Episode intro.
All right. A small rescue braves a dangerous herd in the hunt for their missing comrade, only to discover a surprising threat that could doom them all.
And the title was?
The title of this episode is Evolution.
Bum, bum, bum. Do you want to read when last we left The Walking Dead, or do you want me to do?
That's your thing.
Oh, my bad. I'm going to try to read it. I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to try to read it like a radio guy, like a 1920s radio. I always psych myself out before going into it, though. Carol, Henry, and Daryl arrived at the hilltop just as Aaron and Jesus were leaving to go find Eugene after discovering Rosita dehydrated in the woods. He and her had a terrifying encounter with the Whisperers. After refusing many times to go all the way to the hilltop, Michonne gets word of Rosita and then decides to accompany Sadiq with Magna's group.
Great execution.
What?
I said great execution.
Now back to Little Lenny. Little Orphan Annie. Pull out your decoder rings.
Okay.
That was good. Too far.
I appreciate the effort.
So, all right. So, we're going to go into the episode breakdown. I feel like we need an intro
Beep
song.
you.
The sound effects were awesome. All right. So, I noticed in the opening, I'm kind of looking through the opening now that I'm seeing that, and so I'm looking for little Easter eggs in the opening, right? Opening credits. When you see Rick and Michonne on the horses and it backs up away from them, you see some kind of handmade crosses, like gravestones, and there's a sword right there. But it comes off the sword, and it's obviously Michonne's sword because of the handle, right? But when it backs up, you see the sword in amongst the gravestones. And Jesus had a sword, so it's kind of maybe a double entendre. But it backs up directly into the crack in the brick wall that they went through, that they tried to make the pinch point for the walkers. And directly goes in, backs up through that, and then at a bass part in the music or whatever, it's like a walker just suddenly appears right there. And so it backs up from there. And so I thought that was a nice little Easter egg. It's there's got to be tons of stuff in there that we won't know what it means until we see the episode. And I really enjoy that. I think that's really cool that they did that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to start with Michonne's group at the hilltop. We get the hilltop warning people outside the gate that the outsiders are coming. They all rush to safety. Michonne and company arrive to a frigid hilltop welcome, completely different from how Carol and Daryl and company were greeted. Like we mentioned in the in the episode last week, when Carol and them came through, they were still on their wagon and everything. They still had their weapons. But the scene started from inside with the open gates. We don't know if they were made to drop their weapons or if they went through all this. But as they're riding up, Diane, originally from the Kingdom, is looking through the binoculars, and she says, "Oh, there's about 6 people." And then Michonne comes out from behind the trees, and she's like, "Oh." And then she kind of looks at Tara, who apparently everybody's rushing to the gate, like, "Who's here? Who's here?" And she gives Tara a knowing look, and Tara's just like, "Oh, great."
I took it as just Diana's just this. How's she gonna come up in here acting like it's okay? And he said during the episode, whenever the whatever ran or was riding up on his horse and was like, "The outsiders are coming," he mentioned that it was very Paul Revere like.
Oh yeah, the riders are coming.
Even though that's a myth type thing of how it happened. It's not exactly like a true
Right, yeah. But I mean, it's a story.
representation. Yeah.
So yeah, Diane seems very upset that it's Michonne, and then they get there and make them drop their weapons and all that kind of stuff, which they didn't make Carol and all them do that. And since one of the behind the scenes things, Avi Nash, who plays Sadiq, said that it's very telling that Michonne and Sadiq are considered family, yet they're still made to drop their weapons before they go in. And Tara even tells him, it's like, you guys can have your weapons when you leave. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're treating them like Magna's group was treated at Alexandria.
What did they do?
I know.
Oh yeah, something happened. I can't, that's why I'm not rating the episode good, is because I'm tired of waiting. Just tell me what happened.
That's second half details, man.
And it's silly.
Well, I think this was a proper cliffhanger. Like, they didn't just put it all out there.
Cliffhangers are dumb.
Some cliffhangers are dumb. Like, every show has cliffhangers.
I'm just not a patient person,
but
so I just hate it.
Yeah, but The Walking Dead has, like, kind of worn out their welcome on the cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Like, they spent all the goodwill they had.
They wore out their welcome on cliffhangers when Negan showed up.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. And then to just drag it out. But anyways, everybody feels the same on that. Excuse me. So, yeah, still very icy. Tara tells Michonne about Eugene and Aaron, and Michonne's like, what? What are you doing? I don't know what's going on. And it's like, I thought you knew. And so, yeah, you like my low interpretations?
No.
Thanks, babe. So Michonne seems very frustrated by all that. And Sadiq is kind of like, hey, it's good we're here. It's good we're here. And she's like, okay, yeah. And then she sees Carol and kind of perks up. It's like, hey, Carol. And then
Even smiles.
Yeah, and Carol just straight up sees her, turns around, and walks the other direction. And she's just like, great. And, which, I mean, that's, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Carol to give you the cold shoulder.
Yeah, something happened.
I don't think that Carol's giving her the cold shoulder based on what happened. I think that Carol's giving her the cold shoulder based on her reaction to the fair. Because Michonne is not going to be a part of the fair, and Carol knows that it's something big for them, that's something that has to happen, and Michonne not being a part of it, but wanting to act like everything is okay, is not okay with Carol.
Yeah, and Carol eventually comes over because we see Magna and them are getting settled or whatever, and they're joking about Jesus sounding like a cult leader and all that. It was probably a nickname, which it is. I didn't realize. I totally forgot his real name was like Paul something.
What?
Yeah. Like the intro to Jesus, his name is, they ask him what his name, and he's like Paul Rubens or something, which is Pee Wee Herman's name, but that's not actually his name. But but then he says, but my friends call me Jesus, you decide. And everybody just calls him Jesus.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's not Hispanic or anything like Jesus. Then you get all that, and then Carol walks up and meets Magna's group and kind of does the ASL.
Has a sweet little ASL moment. Very cute.
Yeah.
She's like, that's all I know.
Yeah, that was kind of cute. Just like, man, that's all I got. Sorry.
Yeah, Carol's still very sweet, even though she's ruthless. And that I think that says a lot about what's going on between Michonne and everybody too. That even Carol is giving her the cold shoulder, because like they get into some little soccer mom small talk, and Carol's like, how's Judith and RJ? So right there we get some confirmation that RJ is real.
Nope.
We never questioned that he was real. We questioned that he was alive.
So do you actually think that he could have died and Carol wouldn't know about it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because apparently no one knows anything, and no one's telling Michonne anything.
Yeah, Michonne hadn't been to the hilltop or kingdom since whenever what went down.
Yeah, so she didn't know Maggie left. She didn't know Jesus was in charge. Carol probably hadn't been to Alexandria. Alexandria's acting like they don't want nobody to come there. So RJ died, no one knows, and she's just lying because she's still crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like, to her, RJ is very much alive. So when Carol asks, how is RJ? She's just like, oh, he's great, because I think he's alive,
I saw him the other day.
Yeah.
But I left him at home during the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Grown man Judas watching him.
Grown man Judy.
She don't need no watching.
She's
That's
a
only
home
when I saw
babysitter.
Negan in the house. I know we'll probably talk about this later. I was just like, is Judith even home? Like, she's probably not even home. She's gonna walk up and be like, hey, Negan, what's going on?
She's at the club.
I'm the one who unlocked it. No, I'm just kidding. At the club.
Father Gabriel's Father Gatorl.
What?
Father Gabriel's club.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's not a club I want to be a part of.
So then, of course, Michonne returns the favor, asks about Ezekiel and Henry, and he's so sweet. He really cares about her. He just wants to help. Blah 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 blah. And so then Carol starts asking her about the fair, trying to get her to come. She refuses. Carol says that she knows what she went through and knows why it's hard for her. And to me, it almost seems like she's talking about Rick right there, but she says that they've both lost something. They've both lost children and kept going. So I don't think she's talking about Audrey. I thought she's talking about Andre.
Yeah, definitely.
And Sophia. And but that they're still family. And Michonne just kind of cuts her off, and just like, yeah, we're still family, but kingdom is kingdom. Hilltop's here and Alexander is there. It's basically like we're separate. And he said, there's a whole lot of broken world in between, and they cannot pretend otherwise. And Carol says, well, that's a shame. Michonne says, yeah, it is. So give him my love, and walks away. And I was just like, man, who hurt you, baby girl? And also want to thank Michonne for the shout out for our Westworld episode coverage called Broken World. So if you're in a Westworld, we also cover the Westworld, so go check that out. That's on YouTube. We don't have podcasts for that yet, but coming into the second season, we'll have podcast on that.
FYI, that was just a coincidence. That wasn't an actual shout out.
Yeah, that we call it, because like all our episode coverage, we kind of put the Broken Pictures spin on it. So it's like, of course, like Broken Dead, Broken World.
Everything broke.
Everything is broken.
We broke. No, I really love this moment between Carol and Michonne, because not only does Carol talk about the children that they've lost, that they've both lost children, they both have taken in children that are not their own, so much so that the children call them mom.
Yeah.
And it just represents like the type of world that Michonne and Carol both want to live in. And so I really like that they're tied together that way, and that they're forced to make a connection that way. And talk about the kids that are not even their kids. How's Judith? How's Henry? Like, these are not their children, but they're drawn together that way.
That's a very good comparison contrast argument right there. It's like they both have different ideologies, but they're very similar.
Yeah, they both reacted to certain events completely different.
Yup. And so then, after Michonne exits, Diane, formerly of the Kingdom, always going to throw that in. She asks Carol if she can come back to the Kingdom with her, and she says she's talked to Terrell, and she...
Terrell?
Terrell.
New character coming.
Yeah, new shipping.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Sorry, Daryl.
Sorry,
it's going to turn out like Ross.
So she decides to come back to come back to the Kingdom, and Henry shows up with an advance on his pay in the form of nails and screws for the Kingdom, and Kara gets all weepy-eyed, and you didn't have to do that, and tells him goodbye, and and it really, really a moment where it's like, man, I kind of like Henry, but then he ruins it later, and I'm glad that it wasn't Carl for this, because he already had so much hate on his teenage angst that was kind of cringy to watch and stuff.
Kind of in the beginning and stuff, when he was sneaking out and all that kind of stuff, we're just like, Carl, what are you doing? Carl, what are you doing?
Carl, come here.
I loved how Diane is just like, yo, Carol, Michonne is here. I'm trying to get out of here. I ain't about to stay with Michonne. Like, she gives it a look at the wall like, if you're here, I'm leaving. And then she does.
State your business.
Yep. So then later on, we get Sadiq apologizing to Michonne there at the bedside of Rosita, And he encourages her to mend fences, but she stands her ground and says she won't, not in the way that they want her to. Apparently whatever she did, she knows that they hate her for it, but she's convinced it saved their lives. So something, I don't know what it is, but it's like one of those things, like as a parent, where it's like, I know you're going to hate me, but this is for the best, and da-da-da-da. You're just going to have to get used to it. And man,
maybe she fed a baby to somebody. I don't know.
Maybe it was RJ. No. Maybe that was Carol, just like sarcastic. How's RJ? Huh?
I don't think it was sarcastic.
No. So then,
dark.
Yeah.
I think that it speaks volumes that's when Rosita starts to wake up. Mm-hmm. I don't know what signifies, but it signifies something.
They always seem to interrupt right before they divulge the information. Rosita wakes up and warns them about Eugene's search party, and she's like, and Sadiq is like, "Hey, we got Daryl, Aaron, and Jesus, like our most capable people on this," and she's like, "Oh no, you don't understand. They don't know what they're in for." And apparently they didn't. But so she says they're not safe. And then we get a close up. Rosita rushes out and we get a close up of Michonne, and horror movie sounds like,
It's very dun-dun.
Yeah, which was like old school horror. I loved it.
You would.
Yeah. So then let's jump to Henry. Henry, we see him working at the smithy with Alden and Earl, and Edith shows up to see how it's going.
Alden's alive and got a haircut.
Yeah.
Apparently Carol does better with Alden than she does Daryl.
She got him a girlfriend too, he got him a girlfriend too. Then so Earl is like, "Hey man, what you doing after? Let's go have some drinks." No, not really. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you come over with Tammy Rose and I and eat some dinner or whatever?" And he's like, I'm gonna see about Enid. Never mind. And I'm happy about this. Like, some people are saying, "Well, this is just another awkward relationship."
It's probably the most normal relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
I would have been super upset had they paired Henry and Enid. So I'm really glad. I think I even said something about a couple episodes ago that I wished that they would put Alden and Enid together. So I'm actually really excited for this.
I think that makes so much more sense than Henry and Enid.
I mean, they've got to be close to the same age. They've been living in at the hilltop together. She's a doctor. He's a smithy. I like it.
He's an eligible bachelor, and he's got that cool accent.
What? It's not like any specific accent, though. It's just like if you...
Ross Marquand on the talking... Okay, my bad.
No, you got it. You got it.
My bad.
Ross Marquand came on The Talking Dead, and they asked him to do... an impersonation of Thomas Paine or Tom Paine, whatever. And he was like, "No, but I can do Alden." And he was like, "I'm everywhere, nowhere. I'm from everywhere and from nowhere all at the same time." It was pretty clever.
Yeah. I can't tell if he's Irish or English or whatever.
I think he doesn't know.
Yeah. He's a man of the world. I'm a man of the world.
No.
That wasn't very good. But anyways. You get the point. So yeah, he sees them kissing. And so, I was going to ask if you're okay with the relationship, but I guess we covered that. You can comment. Let us know what you think. I know you can't comment on podcasts. You're going to have to find us on social media, broken_social. Yeah.
He immediately gets his feelings hurt and is like, "Yeah, I'll come to dinner with you, but first I got to get into some teenage trouble over here. Well, I got to go meet some new friends, meet a new girl interest."
Yeah, for real. Like, he says that he's going to go to dinner with them, but then later on we see him eating dinner alone, like at the community cafeteria outside or whatever. And he just kind of like doesn't even finish his plate, just kind of scrapes it off.
Well, it looked like they were all group eating, so I thought that he was saying like, "Hey, why don't you come over after dinner and visit with us?" I thought that that's what he meant, because it looked like a community type dinner, like big long tables and stuff like that.
It did.
Yeah.
And it's very possible that he did eat with them. I didn't see them in the background.
They could have been there and left.
Yeah, they could have been sitting on the other side of the table, and he just... Because, he wasted food. Literally wasted it. Threw away food. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm a picky eater, and so I've heard 1,000 times, somebody would love to have that food as I scrape it into the trash. So I immediately said that to Henry through the television. Like, it's the apocalypse, boy. You could have fed it to one of the dogs. Like, I did appreciate how it looked like they were saving scraps and, like, separated it out. Because, I mean, if they have any pigs or anything like that, like, they can feed it to them. And so it seemed very resourceful.
Where are they finding pigs?
I don't. Yeah, Rick burned them all. Season 3 or whatever 4.
Wild hogs are a thing. I can't imagine how prominent they are. They're one of the most reproducing and populous things in the South. I mean, they're in Washington, so it's not terribly far.
Daryl even mentioned like he was trying to keep the animals out of his camp and stuff.
Okay.
Enough to find a wild dog.
I mean, I would love to see that become a big, as much of a threat as the walkers, where you've got
very I Am Legend type thing.
Yeah.
A cougar.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
because
they're super prominent, you know, and I mean, if people can travel that far, bears, cougars, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hogs, like, when they get in a group, they will literally eat everything. The bark off of a tree, they will root, they will eat whatever. If you leave, if you were to put, like, a rotisserie chicken out there, none of it would be left. They would eat the bones.
I just want a pet cougar.
I'm just saying, like, can you imagine, like, a walker?
Much.
Like, if it had come up on a walker, like, they would just eat the walker. The walker wouldn't eat them. They would eat the walker.
Yeah, and like, it just stands to reason that would be just as much, because their populations are going unchecked. That would be just as much as a threat as walkers out in the wild, especially at night. And especially because the virus doesn't affect animals at this point. In the comics, it hasn't. But I mean, while we're talking about evolution episode, I mean that could be the next evolution of the virus, is that it starts affecting animals.
Well,
rather than people.
I mean, we can get into that. So different. I feel like that's a different subject completely.
Yeah.
So Henry meets some new kiddos.
Yeah. So Henry. He meets some new. He's throwing his garbage away, right? And these other kids come in. They're like, "Hey, you're looking so down. You know, why don't you come hang out with us up on top of the watchtower?"
Well, it almost looked like a little treehouse club type thing.
Yeah,
it was very.
Join our club, man.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't really enjoy that part very much. It was very awkward.
So
strange.
Yeah, we get Gage, Addie with a D. And her new glasses.
Yeah.
Her 2000s model glasses 10 years into the apocalypse. And Rodney. I mean, just put a little tape on him or something. I mean, there's no way she's...
Well, we didn't get a close-up, really.
Yeah. I mean, do they have an optometrist? I mean, surely Enid didn't know about eyes, right?
Well, I'm sure she had the glasses beforehand.
Well, if she's as old as Henry, then she's probably,
But they've...
I mean, they must have found them somewhere, and they just kind of work.
Also, yes. But, like, they... when they were talking to him, introduce themselves, they were saying they remember him from the war. They didn't fight in the war. They just been living, like, kids' lives in the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. So...
Very much like Judith or Carl would be.
Yeah. Except, apparently, even though they've got training sessions going on at the kingdom or at the hilltop or whatever, apparently these kids have no idea what it's like outside the walls.
Yeah.
Even though they're making trips in the middle of the night or whatever, because I mean, they're just being kids in the apocalypse. Leave that alone. He's trying to eat some plastic.
He was smelling.
Oh. So yeah, they invite him to sneak out and kind of tease him, and they mention Oceanside, and so the first mention of Oceanside since the break,
and they even alluded to the fact that Henry had been there, and we have not seen Henry at Oceanside.
Yeah.
So in some form of war that they've had, Henry was at Oceanside. Ghost doesn't normally like Quin, so the fact that he's over here smelling him, letting him pet him,
really
is kind of
just
cute.
Anybody but us.
Yeah, that is very true, and even us sometimes. Well, he was like, "You've been to Oceanside. Is it really all women?" And Henry kind of nodded and was like, "Yeah, it's all women." And like he had been there. So to me, the war that they're alluding to, Henry participated in, or he was at Oceanside at some point, making me wonder what's going on with Henry too. Like what he knows about all of this.
Mama Carol let him partake in any kind of fighting.
It's very possible that they had no choice.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, something so much that, I mean, Daryl and Michonne both have scars from it and things like that. They're all damaged from it.
Same scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still wondering. I needed a little bit more.
Yeah, and well, we can get into that another time. But because I didn't really touch on that this episode. So yeah, they taunt him to take a drink, and this little cabin they got everything. Like they got a boom box, they can listen to music. They got a candle lit,
a pool table, or whatever they were playing. Or
How did no one notice they were moving all this stuff?
Or maybe it's
real.
like the hangout. Like maybe the parents all know about it.
Oh, they just go during the day. Or
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I
Except for
took
the
it.
moonshine.
Like the little clubhouse thing. Yeah. Like you are in the apocalypse. What pertinent? It's stupid to waste your time on moonshine. Like who does
I don't know.
that?
I mean, somebody that needs moonshine to get through. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, of course, you've got your alcoholics,
it's
but
meant to show how advanced they are, how comfortable they are.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that they're not even using the corn for fuel anymore. They're using it for moonshine.
yeah. Yeah, and it seems to be common because, like, when we got the intro to the hilltop a couple episodes ago, we see
He's
the guy
like,
just kind of
hold
like
it.
swirling it, you know,
Yeah.
sniff and. Anyway.
Apparently they didn't outlaw that.
Yeah, so they must have snuck some moonshine, and I think Alden also needs to teach Henry how to drink because they're like taunting him to take a drink, and he's like, no, I shouldn't. So apparently he hasn't had any before he takes a little swig, and his little swig. And he immediately falls down. It's just like, whoa, guys, this is what you do for fun.
And then when he gets up, he's like staggering around.
Yeah, he falls
and
down in a
stuff,
hole, and he's just like, oh. And then later on, he's puking on boots and trash cans. It's like, really, dude?
Funny.
I mean,
Like, maybe it's just like super messed up moonshine. Like, they don't have
poison.
Papa's recipe.
no, that's Uncle Earl.
Uncle Earl's recipe.
Earl.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic. So, was.
Yeah, it
Excuse me,
he's-
reformed.
Yeah, he wouldn't be drinking.
I think it's really. I didn't like how they just like left him on the hole. They're like, "Oh, you ruined our fun, so now we're just gonna leave you down here."
Nice smooth thought when he fell in the hole. There was like gonna take those metal sheets and put it back on top.
Yeah, I thought something bad was gonna happen. I was like, "Dang, okay, what's going on?" But like, I didn't like how he got out.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. It was very whatever you said earlier, ex machina, of just like, all right, here's a solution. Like, I hopped down here with only my stick, but I just hopped right back out.
Yeah, and
like,
a few episodes ago, they couldn't get out of the hole.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, they set up expectations in this world, and then they completely bypass the expectations that they set up. You know, he's down in a hole by himself. Yeah, might have taken, but drunk as he was, how's he going to get out of that hole?
Yeah, and then he's outside the gates yelling and stuff. I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
Like, if they're so afraid of the dark and so not going out of the walls and stuff, and he's out there yelling, just attracting walkers and
He's
stuff.
like the best pole vaulter when he's drunk.
He did have a stick.
Yeah. But I did like how he was like, you know, look, he got down there and killed the walker. Because, I mean, I like how
you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, exactly. They're still showing that, hey, you know what? Walkers are used to be people, and we're going to respect the dead, you know?
I loved that part because to me, like, Carol and Ezekiel passed that along to him, or maybe even Sadiq. Like, maybe he spent some time with Sadiq because Sadiq, that was his thing, you know? And so maybe there's a little bit more to Henry, which I didn't mind.
Even Daryl, when he was still over the sanctuary, went out, and some of the saviors were using one as a scarecrow, and he killed it and was like, we don't do that, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I like how Tara brings Earl down there, and it's just like, wow, I literally sat right there, like, and it was so interesting that they have rules so much as they have drunken disorderly laws and things like that, like a minimum of 2 days in jail. That's how it is. We obey the law around here. That was really cool to see how much they've progressed.
Yeah, and that immediately sets him up for Carl's storyline to meet Lydia in jail. If you don't know who Lydia is, she's one of the whisperers that gets captured or whatever.
That's what I do in my free time.
Yeah, not this
Uh,
Lydia, of course.
The character
Could be like our love child, because she's got like stark black hair.
Yeah, that's true.
Lydia Jr. So then we go to Gabriel and Negan. We get kids playing outside, playing tag, and everything seems normal at Alexandria. Gabriel's attempting to lead Negan in some kind of weekly meditation. And they said behind the scenes that little bowl he was making, like he couldn't make the noise except for between takes. So I don't know if they added that in later or what, but and I don't know, it's a meditation bowl or something. I'm not familiar with all that kind of stuff. So Negan stops him and was like, "Hey man, I can't empty my mind. It just goes straight to the place where it would blush the collar off of you," and teases him about Rosita. Then Gabriel leaves and sees, just like, "Hey, whatever, dude," and leaves. And somebody comes and he sees the Hilltop Messenger. Somebody comes and tells him the news about Rosita, like they've been looking for him. And then Gabriel eventually comes back to clean Negan's cell, and Negan starts in on him again, taunting.
What he said to him right then is literally word for word what he said to Rick in the comics.
Oh, about the crap molecules? Mm-hmm. That's pretty great.
But then, obviously Rick didn't respond because it's Gabriel, so he gave him a Gabriel response.
Oh, which gotcha. I actually appreciated. I was like, dang, yeah. Okay, Gabriel.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, Gabriel's tired of his burp.
I feel like the progress that Gabriel has made from being so chicken to lock his own congregation outside of his church and to see the progress where to Negan, even though Negan's handcuffed, he's like, you know what? Shut your mouth. Just shut up. I'm done. This glass eye made me tough. I'm done with you.
It's not glass. It's just foggy.
Well, whatever. The ugly eye.
He's like,
I don't even know which eye to look at.
The milky eye. Yeah, he's even chairperson of the board, of the council. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's a big player in the Alexandria, and just tells him, just like, look, man, I had to take care of you. That's why I can't go take care of Rosita. Slams the door, and at that point, like, a lot of people are giving Gabriel flack for not locking the door, but when he slams the door, like, it sticks. So it looks like it's closed, and then somebody uncuffs Negan from the bars or whatever. So I don't know, like, maybe that dude didn't lock it because it looked like it was locked or something, but they kind of gloss over that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are giving Gabriel flack for it, and I don't know necessarily that it was his fault, except maybe since he's the leader, it's his duty to double check or something, but... Anyways.
Either way.
Yeah, so later on, in the middle of the night, Negan's up bouncing his ball.
Little pig.
He hears the thunder, or he loses his ball. It bounces outside, and he's like, oh, crap. And loses it outside, and he the thunder rattles the door a little bit. And he's like, maybe. He goes and pushes it. Sure enough, it's open. And I want to say, like, in the comics, he gets his ball and goes back in, right? And kind of wanting to prove. But this one, they skipped all that, and he just tosses the ball. Like, they go right up to that moment and then just, like, divert.
Yeah. So now.
Like, you can almost see the decision, like, cross his face.
Mm-hmm. And I was kind of thinking he was about to go back in there because, you saw it, like, all right, got my ball. I'm going to go play with, no. Where's my bat?
Yeah.
And like a missable detail last week that I missed, somebody had, like, when they showed up in the window, he had carved like a little miniature bat that was sitting in the window.
That's funny. I thought that it's kind of going to the teaser for next episode is like he got a skinnier Lucille stand-in. Like, he didn't even get the same bat. Yeah. Like, she lost a little weight.
Just like him. All right, so now we're getting to the good stuff. Aaron, Jesus, and Daryl and Dog. At the very beginning, we see them overlooking the herd of walkers, and they're milling around. They note that it's not normal. Daryl says that they should get going because there's a storm coming. And then they exit. They get going, and they're walking. And then Aaron and Jesus are talking about how Daryl's trading with the Hilltop again. He's kind of coming back a little bit. He went out, and he's coming back. And he stopped.
Well, he was talking about, like, how the visits got more and more infrequent.
Yeah, but
that he hasn't been to visit in a while.
Yeah, but now he's starting to come around a little bit more, and how Aaron notes that Jesus and Daryl are similar. That he said, Daryl's avoiding people, but finding people is actually kind of his thing, and I wish that he would just embrace that, And he said, just like leadership, you're good at it, but I wish you'd stop fighting. And he's like, is that what you think I'm doing? And so then Daryl notices that the herd is still coming. And he said, well, it must be the wind that's carrying the noise. And so he winds up this little alarm clock and uses Enid's old trick and throws the alarm, the little timer out, and to kind of divert the herd. And then I
don't remember that when Enid did that.
When we first met her. And this one's out of order, but like when they're still looking out over the herd before they get to talking, they go through the herd of walkers all out of focus, and they get to one that kind of stands upright and turns its head.
Yeah, looking backwards.
Yeah, and that was a really creepy moment.
Yeah.
That was cool. Jesus they're going, and then Jesus sees that the herd has doubled in size. Something's up, but they keep on keeping on.
And yeah, sorry, I was going to try and keep it going while you were.
My bad, sorry. So then Daryl and company find Eugene. He's buried under some hay and some kind of storage of sorts under the floor. And I don't remember. I mean, was this barn built?
I guess it was. I'm pretty. Jesus, before they left, he said he knew the area and like the places that they should look and everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure it's like an outpost they've made, and they just kind of like, oh hey, if there happens to be a herd passing by, just duck in there.
Yeah, it did look like it was new construction.
Yeah. So.
But it was a singular box. I mean, it was only for one person.
Yeah, it would have been a good hiding spot.
Yeah. For a scout or something. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
And so they open it up, and he's like, affirmative, it's me. And Eugene decoded. That means yes. So anyways, he climbs out of there, no problem whatsoever, even though later on
he's definitely wincing. Do you
well,
hear
he still climbs up. He still climbs up, and then he can't get over a fence with somebody pushing him later on. It was like, I don't know. But anyways. But at the same... In their defense, they have been tracking for a long time at that point, and they're probably wore out.
Yeah.
So then, he updates the group and tells them that the herd is different. It's not normal. And so then Dog lets them know that the herd is back, and they go out the back way. He said the herd has cut them off. And as they're going, they still can't shake the herd, and the herd is kind of closing in on them. And Eugene theorizes that the walkers have evolved. Basically the brain is still alive; it could learn stuff. And the others really don't believe him, except Jesus, because he believes in everyone.
No, they believe in him.
Yeah. So then they split up. Daryl takes the dog to kind of draw the herd away. And I almost want to say that they're with Eugene dropping that little bit of knowledge that they're laying seeds to potentially that they could maybe go that direction sometime in the future if they're in like episode, season 14 or whatever, and they run out of ideas.
Please.
Yeah.
Nuclear zombies. I don't care. Just.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that it could do that, but at this point, I think it would be jumping the shark a little bit. Because the comic has not gone there at all.
No.
And I think it would be more believable for the animals at this point to start catching the virus, or certain animals, or you know what I mean, where it's starting to cross where they establish that it's evolving, first before it just jumps into, oh yeah, by the way, they can talk and and they're the new Neanderthals.
Ew.
So yeah, Daryl takes the dog, try to lead him away. Daryl and Dog trying to distract the herd and light some firecrackers, and the herd literally like starts going towards it, and then the whisperers among the herd redirect the herd, which
with
is
the whispers,
pretty amazing to see that.
Which I didn't realize that's what was happening. I was like, man, wow, they're all whisperers. Wow, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that there were walkers like scattered amongst them until when they were killing them when they meet up, and I was just like, man, their heads are squishing awful easy for them to be actual people. And then we realized that some of them are walkers.
Yeah, they actually send the walkers in to kind of so they can get the gist of who they're fighting, it seems like.
And to like get the element of surprise on them, like, oh wow, we're doing okay, we're beating them up, we're fighting them off, and then boom,
which obviously works.
and then you die.
Yeah. So yeah, they reach the cemetery with Eugene to find a broken part of the wall and decide to use it as a choke point, like in 300, where the numbers will count as nothing.
I thought that was interesting that you put that, because it made me think of what Judith had said about what it doesn't matter what's inside about the numbers or something like that.
The numbers don't care if you're good or bad on the inside.
Yeah, so he put that in there, completely unrelated to that. I loved how Daryl has spent so much time with Dog that he has trained him a little bit. When he told him to hush, he hushed. And I loved that. That was really neat.
Mm-hmm. And he's even got like his own shorthand. Was like, keep him coming, Dog.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, that dog is super smart. And side note, even like Norman Reedus said that the dog, which its name is Seven in real life, he said that he's the strongest member of the cast because he said they were doing a scene, they were shooting a scene, and the dog wouldn't do what they wanted it to do, and it ended up doing something else. And he said it made the scene so much better. Like the dog literally decided to do something that made the scene better, and so he was giving credit to the dog. He's so happy to have that dog. I can't blame him though.
I don't want a dog or a cougar.
That would be super cool.
I think you kind of have to choose between the two. I don't really think you can have both.
I mean, Ezekiel, he's got an opening.
Yeah. Kind of tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, tiger.
So, yeah, they get past the choke point that we saw in the opening credits, and they go back around to the gate, and the gate is stuck. And it's like, according to Eugene, it's topsoil erosion has caused the gate to stick. And so then they're pushing on it, and then Jesus and Aaron decide, you know what, we've got to take out this first wave of walkers. And it's obviously walkers at this point because we see them squishing and all this kind of stuff.
And then they fell through the little choke point thing, like they fall, like the Whisperers wouldn't have done that. Like they fell through and everything.
Maybe. Bum, bum, bum. Or would they?
No, they definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah, so the Whisperers are definitely using the walkers as pawns.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of send them out ahead and
wear them
strategic.
out. Maybe even weed out a couple. Like, it's still very possible that the walkers would actually bite somebody.
Yeah.
And weed out somebody.
You gang up on them, just say, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then, as they're doing that, we see Eugene is just back to old Eugene, just super scared, but he's injured, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's
literally standing there.
Yeah.
Not using the shovel
or he's got a stick.
He has the shovel. Remember, Rosita gives him the shovel and it says, here, use this. And that's what she scoops the mud up on him, because later when Michonne gets there and they're trying to dig out the soil, he's using the shovel.
I don't think it was a shovel. I thought it was just like a stick.
No, he waited until she got there to start using the shovel.
I thought it was just a stick. We'll have to go back and watch that. I know
I'm 100%
Negan's got a shovel in the teaser for next week, so maybe you can go through it a little bit.
No, I'm not.
We're going to go back and watch that. Let us know in the comments if you got a screenshot or anything. She's going to look it up right now.
I sure am.
So, Michonne shows up at the gate. Magna and Yumiko also show up to help. She's like, what are you guys doing here? We're on our keep. And so then they all start working to kind of push the gate open. They get it open a little bit, just enough. And Jesus is like, hey, you guys go ahead. I'll take care of this. And he's just kind of like, actually loving being out there and fighting. And we see Jesus as Jesus should be. And you're missing your...
oh, where?
Number 26 there.
Oh, so...
she deliberately didn't want me to read this, so she could.
Yeah. So what he said... okay.
Jesus tells Aaron and Eugene to go through, and he's going to...
Oh, yeah. So instead, Jesus takes the wheel. Just kidding. Jesus takes out another wave of walkers before he's starting to head back. Mm-hmm. He goes to take out one last walker, and it ducks and stabs him, killing him. Mm-hmm. Tells them that they...
Can't see your face.
Sorry. Tells them that they are aware they do not belong. So, like, whispers in his ear. Mm-hmm. And it took Dylan and I watching it again. Yeah. No, that was the walker.
That's what I was saying. Last words that he
To
ever
Jesus.
heard. Yeah.
It took Dylan and I watching that little part again to realize that the whisperer that stabbed him had like a really long sword thing that went up like a kidney shot, but it came all the way out right here.
Oh.
And so that, because I was like, man, he immediately died. That's so upsetting.
I
Like,
thought it was
what
about
happened?
this big.
Yeah,
Right, I thought
yeah.
it was small too, but no, it literally comes all the way through him.
Yeah, it was like a machete length.
It comes
Oh,
from
he
like
did.
his right side kidney all the way up out of his
Yeah.
left
Yeah,
shoulder.
he sticks it and then he pushes it up through.
Yeah. So it straight
Okay.
almost split him in half. Was pretty dramatic.
Like, because like when he stuck him at first, I was like, oh, they could just haul him back
Yeah.
and he might be okay. You know, just like he'll have his own little X scar from removing the kidney. But no, he's done for. He's a goner. And so Aaron, starts screaming no, and the crew, everybody rushes through the gate to fight. Other whisperers emerge from the fog with knives, and Daryl steps out from behind a big gravestone and just like kills the one that got Jesus, shoots him in the head. What are you watching right now?
It was a commercial before the video starts.
So
Aaron mourns Jesus. Michonne notices the blood on her sword, and Daryl calls her over. He cuts some of the stitches off the back of the head of the dead one that got Jesus and pulls off a mask, rolls him over, and finds out it is an actual living person.
we get
Well,
a little
dead
Well, he's dead now.
little Scooby-Doo moment. It's like, if it wasn't for you and this dog.
Ricky's raggy.
Zoinks. So yeah. I mean, that's our huge reveal. It wasn't like in the comics. I think it was with Lydia or Alpha that removed their masks first.
Yeah, it was right before the fair, and Alpha reveals her mask. She takes off the mask, and you see like, I'm Alpha. These are my niggas.
And wasn't that the scene with the shotgun or whatever? What did she say to him? Like stop or don't move or something like that.
I can't remember.
Oh, here it is.
Did you find it?
Yep.
Oh, she's watching the scene right now
Yeah.
to see.
Literally has a shovel right there. Do you want to see? Here it goes. He's about to start digging. Just a second. There he goes. Look, shovel.
Well, to me, okay.
That
Okay,
was his
I do
shovel.
see the little. It's like
a
a
shovel.
yeah,
Yeah.
It is a little bitty shovel head on the end that he's using as a cane.
Because that's when Rosita gave him the shovel for him to
Okay.
crutch away on.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't see the little shovel head at the end. I just thought it was a stick.
That's definitely a shovel. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
you're
I just
right.
gotta be
You're right.
Yep. Thanks. Appreciate you. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, then they after they realize what's going on, we start hearing more whisperers. They're trapped, circle around, keep them together, and then it gets really spooky, and they just kind of back up together, and we get the overhead shot. End of episode. They getting ready to fight again.
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah. So
Dun-dun-dun.
I thought it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you only rated it at 8.5, 9.
That's what I said, 9. Okay, I'm gonna say a solid 9 then.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to retract my 8. So, anyways, if you guys have more to add to it, we'd appreciate that. Is there anything else you guys want to say in closing?
RJ's not real. Or he's dead. One of the two.
Yep. So we'll get more into that on the next episode. We're gonna do some spoilers and speculation coming up in part 2. So tune in for that. We'd appreciate it. And once again, thanks for watching, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or listening in podcast form.